Hi there, it's Hannah from usstemclub, and I'm going to talk to you today about our Hoverpuck Kit. This kit allows for a lot of interdisciplinary STEM activities where the students get hands-on experience and a lot of fun as they play around and explore math and science and their interaction together. One of the things you need to know about this kit before you start working with it is that it has to print perfectly flat. So a heated build plate is ideal, but if you don't have one, make sure you put down a fresh layer of tape so that the bottom of it doesn't warp at all. If it warps and pulls up on the edges, it won't work the way it's supposed to. Now, once you have it printed, there's a lot of great activities you can do with this. If you are a middle school science teacher, you can graph distance over time and look at constant speed. You can look at that constant rate because there's zero acceleration without the impact of friction. This is a great time to talk about contact and non-contact forces. And even then, at an elementary level, you can get into just simple change in motion when it starts from a zero stationary spot to when you give it that initial push to get it to move into motion, and that it will continue moving until a change happens. In this case, the balloon runs out of air, it hits a wall and bounces. Or you can even then start talking about pushes and pulls by simply tying a string around the openings on the Hoverpuck so that you get the ability to pull it as well as push it as it's moving around on your tabletop. Once you've figured out what activity you want to do with it, simply select the balloon of your choice and you secure it to the top of the Hoverpuck. Now, as you see here, I have 3 different balloons. That's because one of the ways you could use this would be to do volume analysis in the math classroom. So you can look at cylindrical balloons, traditional balloons, or even perfectly spherical balloons to do your exercises, where the students are having to make volume estimations and then they graph, for instance, volume of air versus time it stayed inflated before dropping back down to the table. Whichever balloon you choose, simply slide it over the opening on the Hoverpuck, like that, and then select your mouthpiece. Now, before you use a mouthpiece, we suggest sanitizing them and then not sharing mouthpieces between students. Once you have your designated mouthpiece, you simply put it into this opening on the back side of the Hoverpuck. Hold the balloon right here above the opening on the Hoverpuck on the front, and then blow it up. Once you're satisfied with how much air you have, simply set it perfectly flat on the tabletop and then release it. Now, keep in mind, if you're using the strings for pushes and pulls, to lift them up off the table or they'll create their own friction. Now, one of the other things you can do with this kit that could be a lot of fun in a math classroom is to start talking about angles, where you get the students to go all around a table and they can push the Hoverpuck around or try and reach a certain point on a table that might be designated with tape or something, and they have to figure out how to bounce the Hoverpuck in such a way that it would hit that spot or reach a particular student, and look at the angles that it might have covered in order to do so. So whether you are simply graphing distance over time, volume of air over time that it's spent inflated, or you're talking about contact and non-contact forces and change of motion in your elementary and middle school classrooms, there are a lot of really fun hands-on activities you can do with this kit, and you are sure to have a blast. Thanks for listening.